I've seen a lot of people with sleep deprivation. It affects their job, their home life, that room to room. We want to take the guesswork out of buying a mattress, and that's why we brought in this technology. It shows you what you need. We want to do the assessment and find exactly what's perfect for you.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you know the good stuff. Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Adrian with North Mississippi Storm Chaser showing some of the clouds out there. This shot here from the Cleveland area. This a couple days ago, an example of one of those cold air funnels that we had for some locations out there earlier on this week. Of course, heat has been the story to a large extent. The rain chances hopefully not bringing us anything that
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Welcome in here to Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm meteorologist Matt Lawpon. Gabe had that one logged in from a couple of days ago, a sign of some of the rainfall that we had, and we'll go ahead and note that there on a post-it. Change that a little later on here in the room-to-room weather center. Having a little fun this evening, of course, because the heat is on the way out. If we can get it just through the next couple of days, as we are gradually working our way back to something much more manageable, because it has been extremely hot. I think the heat has peaked today with near record temperatures. Gabe is doing that comparison up here in a couple of minutes. Some overnight storms are possible. That is one thing that we are tracking. We'll look at that in more detail come up here in a couple of minutes. Maybe a few of those somewhat heavier. We put a severe thunderstorm warning back close to the Memphis area. We're tracking that here in a minute, as well as the tropics with air in a category 2 storm, maintaining, if not strengthening, just a little bit over the course of the next couple of days as it again skirts very near the east coast of the United States. But outside Tupelo right now, that sun, like one of those desert movies, just blaring out there. Feels like 100 degrees, 97 the temperature. Dew point is not unacceptable. Relatively dry, honestly speaking, at 66 in the Tupelo area right now, with a few puffy clouds, but not a lot of vertical development from those. Any storms are a lot farther back to the north and west. Caledonia in those crystal clear skies, maybe that's overstating it, considering the little haze we have out there. That humidity value a little bit higher, coming in at 49%. That dew point at 73 right now in the Caledonia area. And then a little bit more of that development as far as thunderstorms are concerned right now in Cleveland. Cleveland, actual temperature 100 degrees, feels like 113. The difference, obviously, hotter there. But when we look at that measure of moisture, that dew point at 73, there is more fuel back in the Mississippi Delta. That's what's pushed you into those extreme heat warning levels, and that's also what's helped to produce some of those thunderstorms we'll look at here in just a moment. So, how about our forecast on the first 12? We're 91 at 7 p.m. Rain coverage actually going up a little bit into the evening. We have adjusted that up slightly versus where we're at during our 5 o'clock broadcast. We're 81 at 10 p.m., 78 by continue in the overnight hours and into the first part of early tomorrow morning. The heat alerts obviously significant, but we are at our peak as far as these go here. And one thing you will note, kind of looking at this, we have most locations under this orange. That would be that excessive heat advisory or heat advisory. I always put the word excessive on it because you used to have excessive heat warning and then, of course, heat advisory. And so try that now. Let's check and see if that, go ahead and kill the app real quick. Reopen that. Check. We'll know here in a second if it's any better. Let's make sure the chat's up on there. Was it streaming the whole time through? Did you stop the stream and turn the stream off, turn the stream on between broadcasts?
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Mississippi Live at 6. see if the audio is a little better on that. Give us just a moment. Gabe has our Facebook feed up. Just double check. We appreciate your patience. We had to reset something internet-wise here between broadcasts a minute ago just to make sure that we were getting full. It's still choppy. What about do mic 2 on? Mic 1 on. Try mic 1.
Test. Okay, give it a second. It has to do this. Well, in the intro, it was like that too. So this is the
intro.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. But it wasn't choppy when we were listening to the. Was it choppy when we were listening to the? What? There we are. So, next thing we're going to try on the list is if I just go straight from my phone and completely bypass my server. So, Gabe's going to tell us if this is good here in a second. The commercials were fine though, weren't they?
That sounds fine.
We're going to try one more thing here. And maybe we flip back and forth to do commercials as we go through. This could be a fun experiment. Okay. I'm going to re-rack our commercial break, see if the commercial breaks work. If commercial breaks work, then we'll try some here. I got an idea. So let's begin at start. So I'm going to click start. I'm going to run the commercial break. Keep that open on Facebook there so we can hear it. See if commercial breaks run. Okay. We're going to figure this out. Give us a minute here. Okay, ready?
Why is it delayed?
Are you on Facebook or are you? Well, okay. So ended up I skipped my break there by accident. That's fine. Let's do some weather. How's that sound? So welcome into a little more rudimentary version. Gabe, I'm going to have you probably hold this for me because I don't have my gizmo out. If you're willing to do that. And I will flip it around. So we will do back camera. So it's point of view. So now it'll point at me. We're going to do this one way or another. We're going to make sure it works. And by the way, I think, come over here for a second. I need to re-rack our 6 p.m. breaks. I think that's part of the reason. Yeah, that's part of the reason why my pre-roll break wasn't running there. We're going to get that in for you, for our advertisers out there. Who knows? A slightly different version of the way to do this. Okay, well, welcome here to Mississippi Live Weather at 6. Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon. I'm going to get through it one way or another. And so as we're looking at headlines, extreme heat has peaked for today. We expect conditions to be more manageable over the course of the next couple of days here. We expect that some overnight storms are possible. We'll look at that Mississippi Live Weather radar here in just a minute. We are tracking Aaron and the tropics ahead as well coming up here in a couple of minutes. But outside right now feels like 97 in Tupelo. Well, that's not true. It is 97. It feels like it's 100 degrees in Tupelo and only just that one little rogue cloud there at all making any kind of a difference or an impact at this time. And man, look at this. You got one bug there, one bug there. It's going to unlock here in just a moment as there's plenty of wasps going around our camera there in Caledonia. There must be something. I would like some kind of wildlife person to explain what the deal is with this. There's got to be some kind of a reason why they end up swarming around that. Anyway, kind of a cool thing. Anyway, 106, what it feels like Caledonia. It's hot. No questions asked as far as that is concerned. Then we do have a few more clouds trying to pop up with some showers there in Cleveland. 99 degrees in Cleveland. That temperature feels like 108. Our forecast through the evening, as you can see, we're 91 at 7 p.m. Rain coverage actually increasing a little bit. We're tracking some thunderstorms back close to the Memphis area. We'll go back through the mid-70s as we head into the overnight hours related to, again, some of those rain chances to gradually move toward you. I'll try to keep my face as much as possible facing toward the camera there. I'm going to double check, make sure some folks can hear us. So give me just a second to pull that up. And pull that chat back up. And for whatever reason, that is... Reminder, if I pull the internet, I should probably not change that there. So that looks good. And let's check the chat here. And we'll see some of that coming in here in just a second. So I apologize if this is taking us a few minutes to figure out. At least we got something for you. Hey, we have that extreme heat warning in effect for locations back here in the Delta. And then these heat advisories in effect for locations back to the rest of the state. We're at the peak of this. Things more manageable over the course of the next couple of days. Heat indices up in excess, 105 from most locations still at this hour. 108 in Amory, 104 degrees in Starkville there. And you can come in and out just a little bit as we kind of go through this here, as we just kind of like points towards some of the things there, Gabe. Okay. So 108 Cleveland, 109 Belzona. Again, this is where our wet bulb globe temperature is. Where you see the black areas there for your Wednesday, we expect to still be in that extreme level for some locations. To a lesser extent, issues farther to the east there. But in general, notice the improvement from today and a greater improvement into Thursday. So the next couple of days, things getting better. Now, we are tracking a few storms out there on Mississippi Live Weather Radar. In particular, when we get up here closer to the Memphis area, you can see here some of the precipitation with some of these thunderstorms we have up here stretching from near Humboldt back toward Millington. That is an area of rain-cooled air, what we call an outflow boundary. I'll leave it on the latest scan here for a moment. We'll kind of draw on radar here. But that green, and I'm outlining it now with a blue line there, is that rain-cooled air spreading southward here. It'll be an initiation point for additional shower and thunderstorm development. Right, Gabe?
Exactly.
So this one in particular, what are we looking at with that one? They're closer to... Wynne, Arkansas, Forest City. Put this back into motion, give you another 1 hour loop on this here so you can see kind of the forward motion of that. I would say that's moving close to about 30, 35 miles per hour. If I track just the green line, we'll stop right there and we'll drag it back to the first time we see it, about up there. It's about 40 miles. So that's actually moving that whole kind of line here close to about 40 miles per hour. So while you're looking at that, I'm going to come off camera. I'm going to switch over our radar mode for just a moment here so that we can actually get a longer range storm track on that. And so doing that, we'll get that about 40 miles per hour, we said, right?
Yeah.
So, and you might have to get over here closer. They're probably not going to hear me because there's no microphone on it.
Oh.
So, yeah, because I'm not wearing unlike yesterday, I don't have my earpiece in on this. We could possibly get that. So I'm at 40 miles per hour. Again, if there's additional storm development, there's a lot of spots. Let's get this closer here. And let's take that at a length of 80 miles and let's trim down the number of folks. We can actually get some folks into our area on that there. And God, we might have to go down another level from that to get eventually closer. And that shows Hernando about 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and I'm going to change it back to 2. And I'm going to force it to start with a city that actually is closer to our area. So let's just say Holly Springs. We'll select that as our first city. Okay, and so there you can see some times there getting closer to Ripley about 7:30, Blue Mountain 7:39, Dumas 7:47. Let's see if we can clean that up a little bit more. Batesville 7:40 I mentioned, Myrtle 7:47, Boonville 7:56, New Albany close to 7:56. So just some times there. Again, if that were to hold together, it's going to be probably after 8 o'clock before it would make it to Tupelo. And we do expect some additional storm development along with that line southward. Hold on. Anyway, so that's kind of where we're seeing on the track of that there. So I'll clear that off here for a moment. We'll come back over to the regular precipitation mode here on Mississippi Live Weather Radar. We had some kind of weird audio issue again. The audio bugs. I'm telling you. Anyway, so that is that batch of thunderstorms there that we are watching. As we widen it out a little bit more, again, see if I can get that back in play. There we go. Now it should, in 3, 2, 1, let me widen that. There we go. I was getting impatient there. But we also have behind it, and you can see all that precipitation all the way from Buffalo, New York, Columbus, Ohio, back through southern Indiana, Illinois. This is a cold front, and the cold air is not extreme behind this, but it is cooler, and cooler is cooler, right? Now, as we show where we're looking at with this, again, we show 80s behind it, and that is clearly an improvement. We also have some 70s and 80s with rain-cooled air ahead. So again, I'm not trying to lie to you on this. The rain-cooled air, as you can see, making as much of a difference. But when we look at the feels-like temperatures, again, that's where we see, again, a fairly significant improvement behind this, as the air is also slightly cooler as well. Of course, the breezier winds with that, any kind of wind movement would certainly be making a difference for us here. And you can kind of see there off the edge of your screen. I'll go back one image here. We'll see if it'll hold that. We'll go back to the wind. As you can see Aaron on the edge of your screen there. Go back over here to national wind gusts. And you can certainly see all the very, very strong winds associated with that system there. I wonder if this will let me query the winds there. Let's go now. And showing some of those winds, 80, 90 miles per hour, even fairly far out from the middle of where that storm is. Try one more time, see if I can catch something closer to the middle. Just curious to see if we can get it. Yeah, we got 99 mile per hour gusts estimated there on our wind gust tracker this evening. So of course, that's where the strongest winds are, obviously in the region. But we have this. One of the things we kind of alluded to a minute ago there, this kind of line of thunderstorms moving in, and our Futurecast does show this down here pretty close to the spots that we were talking about a minute ago. Now, I do think the timing could actually be a little bit slow on this, but depicting some thunderstorms, Corinth back toward Myrtle and Oxford and Water Valley there, if we're looking closer to around 10 p.m. or so, by around 12:30, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, most of those diminishing in overall coverage and intensity. Though we do continue to have a couple still depicted there, Louisville back toward Columbus. So again, timing might end up being just the littlest bit fast for a few locations there like that. But certainly watching that front, as that front slides into the area, this next front, we're going to have some slightly cooler air that becomes a big part of the story over the course of the next couple of days. Though 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, again, still waiting for that to make its impact. But that will have temperatures somewhat a little bit more manageable tomorrow. Still 96 to high, and rain coverage increasing as that front moves in. It starts lifting the unstable air, and that will help us to have, again, some rain chances for tomorrow. Coming up here in 60 seconds, our meteorologist Gabe Maynor will be looking in more detail at that on Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm going to see if I can roll a break. We will see if that ends up working. Give me a second to find where my mouse is on the screen here. As you can see, behind the scenes here in our room-to-room weather center. I apologize we haven't mentioned room-to-room like we typically would in this situation, but we do appreciate them for helping us, and who knows, maybe we need to sponsor out those microphones. Maybe that help us a little bit here. So give me a second as I kick you back over to our studio feed. We'll want to quickly check the audio and see if that's any better here in just a minute on Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
For more than 100 years, First Choice Bank has provided dedicated community banking to North Mississippi. The banking products and services you need when you need them. At First Choice, you're our priority. Make First Choice your choice for banking.
Community is the way we find our strength and share our hope. It's the way dinner on the table brings a family closer together. It's the way we make sure his first chapter book is the first step on his path to greatness. It's the way we rally in hard times and rise back up stronger than ever. United is the way we come together so everyone can thrive. Join us at unitedway.org.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
We going?
Go for it.
Okay. Well, we are.
It's going to happen to work well.
That is fair enough. Okay, so taking a live look there in Aberdeen, 97 degrees, still feeling like 109 degrees. So what we're finding out is Monroe County is one of the most hot and humid locations here in North Mississippi right now. A lot of that just due to that moisture that's building in from the south, but luckily there is some rain-cooled relief, at least trying to move into that extended forecast overnight. Fingers crossed on that because we need rain chances and we need that cooler air. But blue skies across the region, it's a beautiful sight no matter where you're at, so at least getting to enjoy that part of the forecast, keeping those blue skies. 93 feeling like 100. Definitely a better forecast as we look at that extended forecast for sure. But excited about that, enjoying those blue skies. Just need to do so in a safe manner with plenty of hydration and, of course, plenty. We're good?
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, who knows what that was? But yeah, so just great looks up in the sky, but you just got to stay cool in the process whenever it comes to these temperatures. Still seeing 101 in Clarksdale as of 6:25. So shows you how hot it was this afternoon, but already getting a little bit of that rain cool air. I see some of that orange popping up, showing that temperatures are a bit better there on the northwest side of Alcorn County. 94 Boonville, 91 there towards Iuka, and of course 99 in the heart of our viewing area over there towards Houston and Bruce. Feels like value still taking it over that triple-digit threshold with 110 still showing up Clarksdale, Cleveland, and Belzona. 114. The rest of us going to be sitting 100 to 105. Hence why those heat advisories were issued and expected to be continued in that extended forecast. Seeing the Mississippi Delta primarily in that extreme heat warning, but out here on the east of I-55 going to be in those extreme or excessive heat advisories. So no matter where you're at, there is some concern, and so we just need to make sure to stay hydrated and of course stay cool. Pick up tomorrow morning as we head out the door to the school bus. 76 degrees, but as we're dropping those kids off, mid-90s towards the afternoon. So it's going to be a toasty one. Make sure to pack the water bottle with those kiddos as they head out the door. But of course, pack that umbrella just in the off chance that we see one of those pop-up showers where you're at. Again, the positioning going to vary, but at least we are getting some of those chances back into that forecast. You can see this evening, that's that mass that Matt was talking about that's trying to move into the northern half of the area. A lot of those going to be some heavy downpours and even a few rumbles of thunder. So don't be surprised as you're heading to bed that you'll be getting a few of those. No severe weather is expected, so that's a good thing with that forecast. And if anything, it's just producing a lot of heavy rainfall that will be a benefit to those plants that are in desperate need of it, right? As we head into the overnight hours, this is a little bit more aggressive than what we were even tracking on the latest model, showing those chances continue into that 2-3 o'clock threshold with some heavy downpours down there towards Winston, Choctaw, and Oktibbeha County. Basically that line, that outflow boundary, seems like it's continuing along that outflow boundary further to the south, and that's just a result of that forcing mechanism that cold front is. It's allowing that lift in the atmosphere for those storms to take place. Low temperatures tomorrow morning, mid-70s across the region with a few of us right in that upper 70 threshold, but this is actually the warmest start to the day that we'll see over the next 7. So that cold front not just affecting our high temperatures, but also our low temperatures, making it feel a little bit more drier and cooler in the morning. Wednesday morning, like we mentioned, those showers trying to stick around, but as the day goes on, you have that little bit of a break around lunchtime where majority of us are staying on the drier side. That's when we can get some plans done and even maybe plan some events outside around lunchtime. But that front starts to progress more into the area, and just watch that leading edge there towards that mid to late afternoon, how these thunderstorms pop up and initialize and just develop more and more. So we could get a few of those on the heavier side with heavy downpours, as well as a few rumbles of thunder once again. No severe weather is expected. That's a good thing with this forecast, and seeing all that rainfall just makes me excited because I know how badly we need it here in North Mississippi. And like I said, hopefully doing a dent on that drought monitor. High temperatures taking a step back with some of that rain cooled air. 92 Boonville, 96 New Albany, 91 towards Marshall County, 95 down towards Eupora, and 96 there towards Macon. Still seeing upper 90s out there in the Delta, and heat advisories, I do expect them to continue to be issued for our Wednesday afternoon for the Delta and even for parts of the northeast side of the state. So just a result of that heat trying to linger, but definitely taking a step back in that extended forecast. Wednesday evening, again, staying on the more saturated side with a few of those showers lingering around, but chances do diminish overnight and into the start of our Thursday. So fortunately, it'll be a drier start to our commute for Thursday morning. Definitely excited about that, but also excited for the cooler air that will be placed as a result of that cold front. So I know we're talking about, should it be called a cold front, a cool front, or just a front? Honestly, relatively speaking, I think it is enough to call it a cool front because it is cooling those temperatures off just a bit. Lunchtime sees those showers start to initialize once again down there towards Hollandale and Eudora. A lot of those chances remaining further to the south along those Gulf regions. So for us here in North Mississippi, with that northern wind blowing in, a pretty strong wind, it's going to keep those chances of rainfall further to the south. That continues into your Thursday night and overnight into the start of our Friday. So rain chances, they'll stick around, but it's going to be very limited beyond that Wednesday time frame. So hopefully we get the rainfall we need tomorrow, because beyond that, it's not exactly a wet forecast going forward. High temperatures, low to mid 90s. So luckily we are getting some better conditions already for a Thursday afternoon. And you do see some upper 80s up there towards Tishomingo, Alcorn County, and Prentiss County. So excited about that. Heat indices being in the double digits. Excited about this because it means some drier air moving in as a result of that front. So soaking up every second of that. And I do expect tomorrow to be the last of those widespread advisories because we're dropping from 96 down to 92 Thursday and Friday. We climbed just a bit for Saturday, right around to our average 93, but then we drop back even more. Monday and Tuesday, we're talking mid to upper 80s. That's going to feel fantastic. And speaking of feel, let's look at those feels like values. And I actually had to take this a step down on our bar graph right here to accommodate for some of those values because Tuesday talking about 85 to 86 degrees. Well, the reason why those heat indices are so low is because it's such a dry atmosphere. One of the ways we're able to tell that is through dew points. And speaking of taking a step back, Tuesday was so low I couldn't even get a value to verify it. We have to adjust these looking at that Futurecast, but that was a great sign and brought a smile to my face when I was forecasting this. So dropping those low 70s tomorrow morning into the upper 60s, into the mid 60s by Sunday, upper 50s by Monday, and a few areas we're talking upper 40s for the dew point. Again, that's not exact temperature, that's just a sign of that moisture. So it's not going to be in the upper 40s, but mid to upper 60s definitely not out of the question for the start of our Tuesday. Day planner tomorrow, unfortunately keeping those warm, muggy conditions around 76 for the start, 91 by noon, climbing to 96 there towards our afternoon. But a big thank you to some of that rain-cooled air because it will keep our temperatures at bay for most of us into any afternoon plants. Thursday, Friday, very limited in those rain chances, and what looks to be a mostly dry frontal boundary kicking in through the weekend will drop our temperatures heading towards Monday and Tuesday. And like I was talking about, those dew points in the upper 40s, making the drier values allow those low temperatures to cool off into the mid 60s for the start of our Tuesday. It's not jacket weather, but I might just break out a sweatshirt just because we are cooling off, and it just brings a smile to our face here in North Mississippi. So one of the things we'll be looking at is that atmospheric outlook moving forward here in the next 60 and just a better assessment of this going forward.
Well, we're going to do a double box. We're going to see if my audio is working, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Give me a second here. I need boxes, bam, the wall. There we go. I'm listening in my ear here just to make sure, just in case. Yeah, I know.
Folks have been watching Mississippi Live Weather wrong. They need to do it like this. Just
there
have
we
it in
go.
there.
Hey, the audio's working.
Sweet.
Okay, so we had Craig, who likes watching us here on Mississippi Live. I've got to do this here real quick from the Room Weather Center because I thought it was kind of funny. Sent us this shot here to kind of sum up the technical difficulties the last couple days. There's a cow.
Oh, that's
might not be the steer.
Have you seen the name? The name of the cow that
So
we're
what's the name
naming?
of the-
I
what
think
are we
it's
naming the cow?
Wayne because I think it was a historic cattle farmer, someone that was from here. That's name was Wayne.
Wayne?
And a lot of people were saying that we should name the cow Wayne in honor of him. So
Okay, well this is our technical difficulties cow that we figured out here behind the scenes. Appreciate Craig for sharing that with us here. So don't go away. We have a little more Mississippi Live weather coming up here in just a couple of minutes. So of course, stick with us here. I'll let you hit the space bar over there and we'll be right back.
Okay, sweet. Is it clicked?
Except I think I clicked off of it.
Wayne the
the
cow.
magic here in 3, 2, 1.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. We knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Okay.
Welcome back into Mississippi Live Weather. We're tracking the atmospheric outlook to kind of give us a better idea of what to experience over the next several days. So this is, as you can see over the top of my head, the next 3 days, and you can see that we are in a dome of drier air over the central part of the United States. But as that transitions more into the next couple of days, we're talking about Wednesday right here, you can see the high pressure building in the western United States, but out here in the east, you have this frontal boundary that starts to develop and those rain chances right along with it. So we're not overly high on those rain chances, especially like looking at Aaron right now, how much rainfall is associated with it. We're not to that extent, but a few of those light to moderate showers definitely sticking with that forecast and a few thunderstorms embedded within that front. The front fully clears heading into our Thursday, and as you can see, drier air on the back side of this, not going to supply a lot of moisture, but at least keeping a few of those isolated chances around. And you can also see that with our temperature graphic right here, where the heat is, it's going to show up with some of those lighter reds, and that's really seen out there towards Albuquerque and Denver, with that drier high pressure air mass right there. Moving into the next few days, that frontal boundary starts to clear just a bit and those northern winds move back in place, and that'll make for some cooler air as that dominant heat still remains out there towards the west. So fortunately, we're kind of clearing ourselves from that, but you do see this threshold that develops that where we'll get some moisture on the southern end of our state and then some drier air on the northern extent. So watching for that in the extended forecast, and we're also watching for more tropical development. Of course, we walked through Aaron earlier this evening at 5. We're also watching this one right behind it, this tropical outlook that we have in place. Still 60% development over the next 7 days, 10% over the next 2, and our model's kind of carrying this up the Atlantic coast once again, but not reaching all the way inland. So shows how models have changed. Well, they've already changed 24 hours into the future. Fortunately, less impactful for us here in the U.S. One more storm that I need to point out, 30% chance of development over the next 2 days and over the next 7. This is that latest tropical outlook that was issued for this wave off of the coast of Africa. So still a ways away from being developed, and that's the case with a lot of these storms. But I'm going to bring our chief meteorologist, Matt Lobhon, up here for 1 second to track a few of these storms. But Matt, at least a better outlook when it comes to what we're seeing on the tropics.
Absolutely, and a huge improvement in the tropics. I mean, from a very significant system.
Yes.
You know, this is that time of year we're going to have these big systems. It's just a matter of time. You know, Aaron's the first on what will probably still be a pretty active season.
And we're grateful that we're basically forming up that high pressure wall to keep these storms away. And so that we've seen that with Aaron. Expect to see that with this storm, and or at least that medium risk, and then hopefully with this yellow one as well, or the low risk.
Hopefully. Okay, so give me a minute here to get my computer back on. Let's talk through a couple things. First off, my internet speed here at the office was a little slow, so I'm like, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull a 100-foot cord from here back to the main place where we plug in our internet around the corner and see if that fixes it. And it did. But then I didn't double check to make sure everything else reconnected correctly. So we're gonna have to probably double check a couple other things on that same factor here in a minute. Luckily, the data is still in pretty good shape on all of our on-air stuff here. Let's talk about it. Someone was asking a second ago, they're like, hey, you know, looks like we're going to have some rainfall this evening. As we talked about at 5 o'clock, we do anticipate that we will see some rain chances certainly increasing through the evening. We have this area of rain-cooled air that depicted there on Mississippi Live Weather Radar that from Oakland back out towards South Haven and north of Tunica. That's sliding through from the north to the south through the area. As a result, again, notice how our gap between this boundary and the storms continues to grow. It's a sign that these are weakening, and as we go into the evening, that's why the overall coverage of storms will decrease. But you still see additional development out here north of Jackson, Tennessee as well. So we do expect the overall chance for rainfall will increase a bit as we go into this evening. So tracking a few of these storms. Again, we have some of these out towards Santobia and up here toward Olive Branch. Again, fairly weak in nature. You look at our number of lightning strikes, only about 40 so over the course of the last couple hours up here. But we expect as this line comes in, additional development probable with this as we head into tonight. I'm going to switch our radar site here over to the one in Monroe County. As we notice, these storms look a lot heavier from farther away because we're looking higher up. So again, these will still waiting to put down their heaviest precipitation that they're going to have there. Storms remain spotty a lot of other spots, so we are watching a few back out here closer to Water Valley, Landing, and Hubbard Creek. Of course, this would be Enid Lake here with the showers and thunderstorms kind of over the lake, kind of working their way back in a westerly direction. Not particularly well organized, but again, kind of working sort of westerly. So if I track that batch there back toward the west and speed, I'll say 15 miles. That's overdoing it. Let's go about 12 miles per hour. We show Wallace Creek there at 6:39, Enid 6:49, and Teasdale there at about 7:19, assuming that can hold together. Again, heavy rainfall, some lightning likely with that as well. Kind of wind things out here for a moment. A few other thunderstorms. One there, again, south of Grenada that we are watching. But again, the heaviest are up farther north. We've had the one over Carrollton. We talked about how little movement it had. It's mainly rained itself out. And of course, this one over here over top of 55. We'll check out our camera there in Winona related to that one. And that camera, we'll see the direction we've got it looking here for a moment. We might have to flip that one around a little bit. Just give me a second here to just kind of rotate that. Man, have you seen a more buggy set of cameras? I mean, granted, we occasionally had them at the old place, but do you have Winona? You want me to get it? Because I've got it kind of hooked up here.
I don't think we have access on that computer.
Okay,
I don't know the tab for it.
So we're looking north. Well, if we're looking northeast, we just need to slide it back over here and look a little more directly north. So that's what it looks like in real life there.
The bug is right in the camera.
Hey, man, listen, it's like, hey, that's how badly it wants rainfall as well. So that's what it looks like in real life. So I'll see if you can see it there. We're looking toward, again, that moderate rainfall. This is what it looks like. And see how fuzzy this is? It's a sign that it's glaciated, so the just kind of ice crystals, raindrops kind of falling out of that there. But again, that is not a particularly strong storm. It is in a weakening phase. Typically, when you start seeing that sign there, it tells you that it has gone past its peak, and I'd say that's easily the way I would describe that at this moment, is past its peak. So the bigger story then this evening, as we've kind of gone over those thunderstorms, is what's going to happen up here related to this. We talked about how these storms have become somewhat detached from the boundary. As we're back here to kind of the closest scan there on Mississippi Live Weather Radar, we're going to come back toward the Memphis area, NQAR radar. And so the fact that we now have a few that have developed here, it's still possible that continues to kind of spread south and east. The speed on this has been about 40 miles per hour. And so I'm going to track, and it's going to come up with a ton of locations on this because obviously it's a heavily populated area back in the northwest part of the state. But if it continues about 40, that'd be your angle there. And let's go ahead and we're going to trim down the number of locations showing up on that. We're going to take it out 80 miles instead. Let's go 100 miles. And we're going to thin out the number of locations. Again, that's kind of set up for severe weather coverage when we've just got a ton showing up there. And there's kind of a longer track that has that closer to, say, Byhalia about 7 o'clock, Coldwater 7:04, Senatobia 7:13. This is assuming this all moves at the speed it's kind of moving. Holly Springs 7:18, Como 7:24. So this boundary, while I don't necessarily think it's going to fill in completely with storms, I think it will continue to produce some isolated storms as it moves northwest to southeast there. And so eventually Blue Mountain 7:14, Oxford about 8 o'clock or so, New Albany again, give or take there. Water Valley about 8:10, Ecru about 8:15, 8:25 there, Pontotoc. Now it could slow down a little bit. 40 is kind of fast for one of these to keep moving. So a lot of times they kind of get running faster and they slow down, get more power, and they run a little faster. So this is kind of earliest sort of arrival time there. And I'll track the northern part of this. You do see some isolated storms up there into Tennessee associated with that. So let's go ahead and get that part of the line here up toward Jackson and Bolivar, Tennessee. And again, assuming about 40-ish miles per hour. And then we got to kind of extend this out a little farther. So 3, and we'll go 100 miles. There you go. And so that gives you kind of some general time. We got eventually, Tupelo should be on that list, but I think it's a little too deep in. So let me kind of force that along. We don't really we show Ashland there about 7:21, Bolivar at about 7:01, looking Hickory Flat 7:38, Ripley 7:41, Corinth 7:49, and then if you give me a moment, I'm going to put my first city as Corinth, or at least closer to Corinth on there so we can get Tupelo and some other spots. There we are, and select. And there we go, updating that list there farther down the road. Eventually Tupelo, somewhere around 8:30 or so. That seems fast, Gabe. Am I wrong about that?
Well, for summer thunderstorms, yes, but there's also a frontal boundary, which we rarely see this time of year.
Well, so is this the front?
To an extent, yeah.
See, I would think it's the outflow running ahead of the front, perhaps.
And
it's
the storm's back
like
behind
it's kind of like a prefrontal front.
Well, then it's not. If it's just an outflow, then it's not going to continue for 100 miles.
But it's speeding along there. But you're right, it might not. And so I think it should be slowing down significantly more when we're close to that 8:30 time period. That's probably closer to 9. And then if it slowed down more, Belmont closer to about 9 or so as well. Okolona closer to maybe 9:30. So that's something, of course, we'll be watching. Of course, recommend the Mississippi Live Weather app, free and available for all those various devices, because, of course, timing does change. You're probably watching us on the app anyway there. And if you're not watching, you are watching us on Facebook, we appreciate that and appreciate your support. Of course, free and available for all those different devices. Our next live broadcast is going to be coming up tonight at 10 o'clock here from the Room to Room Weather Center. We appreciate those of you who are watching us who have kind of stuck with us through some technical difficulties tonight. Unfortunately, we had some last night as well. Hopefully, we've got all of that out of our system for a little while. I do have 2 other little storms I'm going to track before we let you out here, if you'll give me a moment for that, because I did have 1 or 2 up here closer to Bounds Crossroads kind of popping up. Just wanted to at least show that that is there. We are watching it here in the Room to Room Weather Center. So there are a couple out there still to probably monitor this evening, and there will probably be additional thunderstorms ahead of what should be a greater group of thunderstorms later on tonight. Gabe, yes?
I was going to say, so models have been projecting, each model one that we've been getting the past few times, if you go north into Tennessee, that mass of storms that are moving through, central western Tennessee, that's where we're getting a few of those storms moving directly south into our viewing area. So that's where, I would say that's the area to watch going forward, is just the chance for those storms to progress further directly south and not take a southeastern extent, but kind of building southwest where it looks like it's basically moving directly south, if that makes sense.
It does. And I think, again, our positioning here on our Futurecast could be just a little bit fast on kind of where it's, actually, this would be similar timing to if it slowed down, where it could be. But I mean, clearly it's a pretty decent quantity of storms in this evening and tonight, kind of moving north to south through this. So that's kind of what you're talking about there?
Yes, and that's starting as those cells further up, basically directly north of Alcorn County as of this point. And so those will kind of backbuild south and west and move further into our area overnight. So I would say that is what to watch for overnight along that outflow.
Okay, so there you go. I'm gonna see, is this gonna let me? No, it's not gonna let me move that, unfortunately. Oh well, that's fine. So yeah, we'll be watching that. Of course, Gabe will have updates at 10 o'clock at the latest. We might have to have them a little bit sooner. I appreciate all of you guys for your support. I do want to remind you, of course, about Weather Call, free and available for all those different devices. If we do get into a scenario here where we do have severe weather, this is one thing we obviously recommend. It's a personalized severe thunderstorm, tornado alert. The app does a great job with those things, and we always recommend layers save lives, because the more layers you have, the more likely you are to be able to be protected and know that something's coming. And so the Mississippi Live Weather app, of course, one of those layers, but Weather Call, it is a paid service, unlike the app, but you do get my voice calling you, which is something we're still working on the next update of the app. It might be the one after that before that's the case, unfortunately. But right now, I'll call you on that and let you know if you're in the path of a dangerous thunderstorm, in particular tornadoes, severe thunderstorms. Of course, $15 a year. You could sign up there, and it does support us here at Mississippi Live Weather, and we appreciate all of you guys for doing that. So with that in mind, I think we'll wrap things up here on Mississippi Live Weather at 6 o'clock. If necessary, we'll bring you additional cut-ins. Keep it here for the latest.
Did you hot punch that?
Weather Call?
The Weather Call graphic?
Yeah.
At Absolute Restoration, our team will feel magical, since our focus is on serving you and your roofing needs. Finding a roofer who actually shows up and communicates, that's just one of the problems we solve by informing you of every step in the process.
Selling premium roofing systems backed by warranties and payment plans starting at just $99 per month. Trust Absolute Restoration to deliver.
Experience unicorn-level service and affordability from a team your community trusts. Call Absolute Restoration today.